Welcome to Inside Raider Sports. I'm Geoff Kim, pinch hitting for Tom Michaels. To my left, the ever-dependable Joy Bryant. Joy, what do we have on tap for tonight's show?
Well, we've got two returning guests. We've got Greg Andrulis, coach of the men's soccer team, along with one of his players. And we have Steve Opperman, women's volleyball coach. And we also have Charles Hartman, who is the athletic faculty representative to the NCAA.
And with that, we'll be back with Coach Andrulis. You're watching Inside Raider Sports. We'll be back in just a moment. Back here with Inside Raider Sports, we're here with the head coach of the men's soccer team, Greg Andrulis. Greg, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Let's talk a little bit about your last road trip at Evansville. You split that one 1-1, a loss Friday 2-1 to Evansville, and a 1-0 overtime win against Marshall. Let's start off with Friday's game.
Well, it was a game against a perennial top 20 team, and we came out and Devin Jones hit a great goal early in the game to give us the lead. And we actually hung on for quite a while there. It was an even game. We had a couple of chances to actually ice the game and put them away, or at least put them further in the hole. We missed two fairly easy chances, one in the first half and one in the second half. But you have to give Evans a lot of credit. They never gave up, as top 20 teams don't. You know, they kept pounding at us, and our defense did a great job, and we finally made a mistake that gave them a tie. And but the interesting thing is, after they tied, we actually played better. Our guys were able to gear it up a little bit and grind it out, and we actually had some of our best opportunities after it was 1-1, and that was interesting because we have such a young team. You know, we started 4 freshmen. They didn't even play a freshman. You know, we went to our bench, and we were bringing in freshmen in off the bench. They were bringing in seniors and juniors with a lot of experience. So although it ended up with a loss, you know, on the overall scheme of things, it was a very positive thing for us. I think in the long run, it'll help us get ready for some of the tougher conference competition.
In essence, you didn't feel like they beat you, rather that you made a few mistakes that you could make an adjustment to later on this season and potentially win this game should the chance arise again.
Yeah, it was the first time this season we gave up 2 goals, and we did give it away on the road, and we always preach that it takes 2 to win when you're on the road. You have to deal with the fans and, you know, officials and, you know, being in somebody else's environment, and the game, you know, proved that. Missing the chances is something that, you know, we'll get over. We might be pressing a little bit along those lines right now, but we'll deal with it and we'll get through that.
A 1-0 win against Marshall. Now, obviously, just in the score itself, great defense. What else happened in that game?
It was a battle of 2 teams that had lost on Friday, so they might have been down a little psychologically, and I think the game started off very slow, and it kind of stayed slow. It didn't have the fever of the Friday games, but nonetheless, our guys played well. We got a lot of great help off the bench. In fact, Ben Woody came in and gave us the goal, and that was the difference. Our bench was very strong and was able to do things for us in the Sunday's game, especially in overtime when you're exhausted. It was hot. You know, we play in 120 minutes. It's a difficult situation to be in.
Now you now stand at 5-2-1, and something that you may or not realize is that you are right now in every game that you've played, all 8 games, you lead at the half. Is it a case of perhaps fatigue on your players' parts, or inexperience, for instance, as you had mentioned with the freshmen?
I think the thing with us is preparation. You know, we have assistant coaches that just do a great job. We meet every day and plan out our practices. We talk about our opponents. You know, we kind of deal with different situations. We're able to change our style a little bit depending on who we're playing, and that's been the difference. And I think that's the difference in our record, is our guys work very hard and we do a good job in preparing.
Before we move on to the upcoming week, let's talk about the last home game here against the Miami Redskins. An exciting win, a 2-1 win, in which one of your senior co-captains, Geoff Winterberger, scores the winner on a penalty kick. Let's talk a little bit about that, as we should have some highlights for this.
Okay. Well, Geoff is our penalty kick taker, and he earned that. Well, actually, this year is Shad Johnfro taking a free kick, and he is kind of a free kick specialist for us. And there's something about Miami, because he scored against them last year in a very similar situation. But it's almost impossible to stop that shot with that kind of velocity from such a range. Here's a near miss, and Gianni Dodato, the poor guy, has had great chances, and he just hasn't been able to get over the hump. He's got a goal, but he's had a ton of chances, and he'll get one. He's a quality player and having a great season for us. Here's the battle. We saw Dustin Swinehart out on the flanks most of the game, which is exactly where we want him, and a major league save by Bill. The score there is 1-0, and certainly giving him the goal there would have swung momentum a little bit. And But it was nice to see Mike have such a great game against one of the best scorers in the country. And there's the penalty kick. It was, again, Gianni Dodato who created the situation by going in there and being taken down by the goalkeeper. And Geoff's, who's one of our most consistent players and spends a lot of time on his free kicks, he's also kind of a free kick specialist. And there's no way, it's in the side netting, it's a perfect shot. There's no way goalkeeper's going to stop that. And at that point, it gives us a 2-0 lead, and we're a little bit more comfortable.
So right now, we've got a couple games coming up here at home, conference games, mind you, against two Wisconsin teams. Friday against Wisconsin Green Bay, that's a 5 o'clock start, and Sunday against Wisconsin Milwaukee, a 2 o'clock start. Let's see if I can get these Wisconsins in here correctly here. What can you expect from these two teams?
Well, the Cheese State teams, as everybody kinds of calls them in our conference, they're two quality teams. Green Bay is coming with 5 straight, no losses, 3 ties and 2 wins. They had a major win over Ohio State, 6-0, which is an eye-opener because they haven't been scoring a lot of goals, so they seem to have gotten that problem straightened out. Always a tough game. Milwaukee's ranked, I believe, this week 18th in the country, and having a phenomenal season, and certainly they're 2 of the top teams in the conference. And but again, you know, I said this last week, we are as well, and we'll see where we stand at the end of the week, and you know, settle it out on the field and figure out where we go from there. But we're looking forward to it.
So 2 conference games and 1 against Ohio State at their place on Wednesday. Greg, good luck to you this week.
Thank you.
And we'll take a break right here. You're watching Inside Raider Sports. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, my name's Rob Claudy, and I'm the head women's soccer coach at Wright State University. Welcome to Quick Tips. Today our tip is chipping. I have several women here from the Wright State women's soccer team who are going to help us. The first thing they're going to demonstrate to you is spooning the ball. They're just trying to get a little lift on the ball, get their foot underneath it, and lift it with the top of their foot. Notice their heads are down, and they're just pulling the ball up with the top of their foot. Just a nice little lift on the ball is all you're looking for. Get accustomed to bringing the ball up in the air, getting underneath the ball. And now the ladies are going to demonstrate how to chip to you. They're standing in partners. One of them is going to kick the ball to the other one where they catch the ball and settle it. Now to chip the ball, your planting foot should be some 3 to 4 inches away from the ball to the side. Your head should be steady, and your kicking foot should come down and slide underneath the ball in a short stabbing motion. The head should remain steady, and you're trying to impart as much backspin and lift on the ball as possible. Trying to lift the ball up to around head height. Notice all the backspin that's placed on the ball. That's by getting your foot underneath the ball. And now we're going to challenge the players chipping the ball by placing a defender between them and their target, and they have to chip over their heads. Notice the form and the backspin and the quick lift. The ball's getting 6 to 7 feet in height within 10 yards distance. That's wonderful. And thanks for joining us today at Quick Tips. Remember to chip the ball, put your planting foot next to the ball, your head down and steady, and stab violently underneath the ball, and you'll impart that height and distance that you need.
See you at the field. Bye.
Welcome back to Inside Raider Sports. I'm here with Geoff Winterberger, senior co-captain here of the men's soccer team. Geoff, let's talk about the season so far up to this point. You're 5-2-1. How do you feel this team's performance has been overall?
Well, we're 5-2-1 right now, which is a fairly successful record. But lately, our offense hasn't been putting up the numbers that we've liked. Fortunately, our defense has been playing exceptional. Last Sunday, they had a 2-hour shutout against Marshall in an overtime. So we'd like to be finishing more offensively, and I think hopefully with 2 big conference games this weekend, that'll come around.
Speaking about offense, you've stepped up yours this year. So far, 3 goals this season, 6 points. And let's give you a little bit of history here. Obviously, you know this. Freshman of the year here at Wright State with 6 goals back your freshman year. and then the production fell off because of, I guess, injuries, and last year you became more of an assist man. Now you're back to shooting goals. Why the
Yeah.
change?
Well, my freshman year, I was more like an outside midfielder player, and now usually that's how the cycle goes. As the older you get and the more experience you get, the more you're involved around the ball. And now I'm playing a center midfield position where I'm getting the ball a lot more, and I'm able to create a lot more.
Let's talk about, speaking about scoring, let's talk a little bit about high school. Just very briefly, you're from Cincinnati Turpin, good history of soccer over there, an all-Ohio and all-Midwest selection. We'll discuss that a little bit. I mean, you're coming here, you're coming to a Division I program, yet at that point you're a star over there. Explain the change.
Well, basically, at the Division I college soccer level, they recruit most high school stars, so a lot of the players coming in have a lot of accolades and honors, but when they step onto the field their freshman year at the college scene, it's a whole new ball game, and everyone has to prove themselves over again. And it's a nice change, but it's also a humbling change also.
What lured you to Wright State?
I like the campus, and of course the coach. Came up on this is my first recruiting visit, and I just like the atmosphere, and I thought the conditions were right.
Let's talk a little bit about a game earlier this season. The Miami Redskins, a game you won here 2-1. You had a game-winning goal on a penalty kick, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
You're an experienced veteran. I mean, you're a senior on this team. What goes through your head in situations like that?
Well, up to the game, we've been playing pretty well. They were pretty dangerous up top. They have a very, very good striker in Dustin Swinehart. We've been playing well. Our defense had played well, and up to that point, we were doing okay. Then we got the penalty kick, which it was 1-0 at that point, and there was about 15 minutes left in the game, and the penalty kick pretty much would have iced it. And I just stepped up to it, and I always pretty much go to the left, so I went to the left, and it went in for me, and it worked out nice.
Let's talk about the conference coming up. Obviously, you've just started your conference schedule. 2 big conference games here at home coming up this weekend against Green Bay and Milwaukee. What can we expect out of the Raiders?
Well, Green Bay and Milwaukee are 2 of probably the best teams in the conference, and lately, like, we played Evansville last weekend, and they're one of the best teams in the Midwest, even maybe in the nation, and we stepped up and we played well against them. So we're hoping that we can rise to the challenge with Milwaukee and Green Bay also.
Well, Geoff, good luck to you this weekend and for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more Inside Raiders Sports in just a moment.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Gover, captain of the Wright State University's women's soccer team, and I'm here to add some spice to your classes. The Raiders are offering a new and fun way to learn called sports geography, which allows you to follow us throughout the year. For more information, call Kim Grant at Wright State University Athletic Department at 873-2771. See you soon.
Welcome back to Inside Raider Sports. Now, today we have Steve Opperman, who's returning for his second visit with us. Welcome, Steve.
Thanks, Joy.
Right now, you guys are having a phenomenal season. You're 14-3 and 3-1 in the conference. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, we're off to a pretty good start so far.
As far as you haven't played very many conference matches up to this point, what's upcoming? You have Butler, I know, and how are you ranked?
Right now we're 3-1 in the conference. We're tied for second with Butler, and that's who we'll see on Saturday. Before we play them, we have Illinois Chicago, another conference fall on Friday night. So we're kind of looking forward to both matches, not overlooking Illinois Chicago on Friday, but it should be a good matchup on both nights.
As far as sometimes psychologically, the teams that you think you're going to be, you might not go in as prepared as you should have, and the teams that you might think you have a little bit of problem with, you kind of get psychologically down. What has been going on, especially with the Northern Illinois match?
I think it had a lot to do with our inexperience with some of the kids coming off the bench. We have 6 freshmen on the team, so when an upperclassman makes a mistake, we've got to put one of those younger individuals in, and they're not really as experienced at this point in the season to take over and step up. The Northern Illinois match, I would probably have to say, was probably our worst match of the season. We did not play at all. They served us off the court. No communication, no leadership on the court. It's one of those matches where I think each team goes through a season and has one of those matches that they kind of regret, and I think our kids kind of regretted the way that they played on Friday night, but bounced back and played very well Saturday afternoon against Loyola.
Right, this past weekend there was a really exciting match Friday evening against
Loyola Chicago.
Right.
Yeah, we always play really well against them. Last year it went 5 games with Loyola winning last year, and this year we came out on top. It seems that when we get to the 5th game, the rally scoring game, our kids kind of take over and put teams away.
It seems like your defense has come a really long way. There were a lot of good defensive plays as far as your the volleys and everything, keeping the ball alive. Have you been practicing that a lot?
We've been doing a lot of transition work, playing balls off the block, making sure that kids are going aggressively after balls, regardless of where they're on the court. I think this year, as opposed to past years, we've seen our kids get a lot more touches on the balls, just be more aggressive playing defense. I think our blocking game has really helped us quite a bit in shutting our opponents down without a problem.
Great. Now, I think we have some footage here of the Ohio State match. Let's go to that and see what the action looked like.
Here at playing Ohio State, at the time they're ranked 9th in the country. Nice defensive play from Jennifer Bringman, swing out to Joanna Downing, one of our freshmen, and just puts the ball down. Joanna's one of those kids that's going to really contribute quite a bit for us. Ohio State is a kind of a young team, as we are. They've got some experience back with 3 starters coming back from their Final Four team last year. But it's one of those things where our kids, you know, at times against Ohio State were really focused, and then lost their focus again and came back again and stayed in the match. It was a match that we might have played a little bit better had we been a little bit more confident off the bat. Here again, see our kids getting a lot of touches on balls, playing balls out of the net. Just a lot of things that were not typical of what we've done. There we have Jennifer Bringman with a block, you know, against Ohio State's right side player. One of the things that we kind of struggled with a little bit was, you know, our ball control a little bit. But like I said, you know, our kids, you know, hung in with Ohio State, you know, every point, you know, blocking them, putting balls up, putting balls down, things like that. So it was kind of exciting to see our kids play at the next level, you know, play against that competition and not back down. Then we get another ball up, ball goes back over, and we side out. So, you know, as you can see, you know, the kids are just getting balls up, playing very, very aggressively and not backing down to our competition.
Yeah, they were definitely hanging in there with Ohio State. Ohio State seemed to have a lot of ball control.
Yeah, they're known for that. Very quick, fast team. Our kids, you know, we're kind of excited for this match. It was our first match to play on our new floor, so it's kind of new to us as well. Great crowd for the match. Here's Lisa running for the ball. Jennifer Bringman with a back row attack. Again, nice defensive play off of Ohio State's transition. Swing the ball to the outside. Again, another great defensive play. Molly Schuler digging the ball, and then it ends with us, you know, blocking the ball.
Jennifer Bringman, she's a very important player. Right now, I think she's ranked 12th in kills.
Yeah, 12th in the country in kills, yeah, per game. She's one of those kids that can lead us in any category. She's moved into some spots on our all-time career list. She's in the top 10 in block assists, digs, and kills, and it's kind of great the way that she's playing. She's stepped up her game, you know, a great deal this year, and has really been impressing a lot of people with her play.
Okay, as far as, are any other players in the rankings right now?
Right now, Carrie Monas, our freshman middle, is leading the conference in blocks per game. She's in service aces. She's also in hitting percentage. Lisa Dearden's 3rd in the conference in assists per game. And kids are just doing a great job overall.
Great. Well, Steve Opperman, we really wish you luck this weekend in conference play with Butler. And we'll be back with more Inside Raider Sports right after this.
Hi, I'm Molly Schuler of the Wright State volleyball team. As an athlete, I'm aware that drugs and alcohol are bad for me if I want to compete with the best. If you haven't tried it yet, don't. If you have, talk to someone soon. It's worth it.
Welcome back. Now with us we have Charles Hartman, who is a professor of law in the College of Business. Welcome.
Thank you, Joy.
You have a very unique position in the university. Not only are you a professor of law, but you are a faculty athletic representative to the NCAA. How did that come about?
For about the last 7 years, Joy, I've been representing the university faculty to the NCAA, which is a governing body, as you know. Each college and university member sends a president, an athletic director, senior women administrator, and a faculty member to the NCAA meetings. So what we do there is pass legislation. We are generally concerned with student welfare, student-athlete welfare, and I've been doing this now for the last 7 years. It's a position appointed by the president.
Now, were there other people in the running for this? You say the president appointed you. Were there other people considered? Were there other people interested? Or
I
did
expect so. We've had several persons serving in the capacity since I've been at Wright State. It's a usually long-term position, and one of my colleagues in the School of Business held the position before I did.
Now, you're very multifaceted. You have all these different hats that you wear. You're also chair of the Athletic Council. Now,
Yes.
what are your duties with that committee?
That's a different kind of responsibility. The council elects its own officers, so my term there is just for 1 year. I'm on the council as the president's representative, and this year the council members elected me chair, but that will rotate from year to year.
The council members that you spoke of, who are they comprised of?
We have alums, student members, faculty members, staff, and now, this year, some members from our retired faculty and staff organization.
How often does this group meet? Is it open to the public as well?
It certainly is. We meet the last Friday of every month in the student union. We meet monthly, and our meetings are open to any member of the university community.
Okay, now back to, I guess, your main function here. You're the professor of law in the College of Business.
That's right.
Now, what level, I'm a little bit blurry on what level courses you might teach, what kind of courses?
Essentially, the legal environment of business courses, some of the commercial law topics used by our CPA majors, and now public policy in business. Those are the 3 areas in which I'm teaching currently.
Now, before you came to Wright State, obviously you went to law school
University
at some
of
point.
Missouri, Columbia.
Okay, and tell us a little bit more about your background.
I did some legal work in St. Louis following graduation, then went to work with Washington University at St. Louis on their staff. In 1968, I went to Georgetown in the nation's capital, and I came here in 1970 to work for President Golding.
Okay, now, again, we have another hat that you wear here, another function that you fill, the NCAA Certification Committee. Now, you're involved in them coming here to, I guess, make sure that the university is still in compliance with NCAA regulations.
Right. Each member school goes through what is essentially an accrediting process every 5 years. This is our year for a visit from NCAA representatives. Last year, under the leadership of Dean Jim Brandeberry, our certification committee put together a self-study report indicating all aspects of the Department of Athletics and intercollegiate athletics at Wright State. Now the team is visiting with us in this fall to see if what we said in that self-study is true and to determine if we will maintain our membership as a Division I AAA member of the NCAA.
Now, you say if we would maintain our membership. Now, would that be solely determined on their findings, or is it, is it a decision that has to be made within the university as well?
No, it would be a decision that the external evaluators make after they visit with our staff and faculty here. They would determine whether we are continuing to have the level of program consistent with their standards for a Division I AAA school. And as I say, this is a 5-year process. We think they will certify us again. It's possible that they will find something deficient, in which case there may be some improvements to be made.
Okay. That was Charles Hartman. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more Inside Raider Sports.
Wright State University is preparing today's students to be tomorrow's leaders. Located in Dayton, Ohio, Wright State is a metropolitan university that attracts students from 54 countries around the world. With more than 100 undergraduate and 30 graduate and professional degree programs, the university prides itself on academic excellence, coupled with real-world experience. Students, faculty, and alumni are working to make innovative contributions to business, industry, research, health, education, and the arts. Wright State enjoys a special partnership with the community. The university participates in advancing technologies and supports services that aid in the economic growth of the region and the country. Wright State is working first at home to build a better community and a better world.
Now let's take a look at the upcoming Raider athletic events. The men's soccer team will continue MCC play by hosting UW Green Bay Friday at 5 and UW Milwaukee Sunday at 2. They'll also play at Ohio State next Tuesday at 4 o'clock. The women's soccer team will host Loyola Sunday at noon, followed by the men's soccer game against UW Milwaukee. The volleyball continues its MCC swing with matches at UIC and Butler this weekend. The men's tennis opens its schedule with matches at Robert Morris, Duquesne, and Youngstown State this weekend. The women's tennis, will play matches at UW Green Bay, UW Milwaukee, and Detroit on the road this week. The cross-country teams will compete in the McDonald's Invitational in Athens, Ohio on Saturday. That's a look at upcoming events. For more information and results, call the WONE Raider Hotline at 457-4055.
Back here on Inside Raider Sports, let's talk about what's coming up on this show for next week. We'll have the golf coach, Fred Jefferson, on, the women's soccer coach, Rob Clate, and the promotions director, Kim Grant, here at Wright State. She'll be here to talk about Midnight Madness and something we're all looking forward to, basketball season.
Yeah, Midnight Madness, the kickoff of the season, and we're all really looking forward to that.
So, and given with that, we're out of time. For Joy Bryant, I'm Geoff Kim. So long from Wright State University.
See you next week.